industry exceeds just the paint and brush of external beauty to proper rearrangement of the internal mental shelves of confidence and poise. A passionate lady who believes that anything is possible if you only give yourself the permission. Norma is a master educator in behavioral change and refinement who uses her inside-out transformational experience and expertise in the area of appearance, behavior, and communication to help individuals and corporate organizations discover their unique identity that makes them distinct globally. So Norma Efanga is that person you need in your personal life and your organizational structure to be able to paint the image, the brand image of what you want your client or the person at the other end to see you and believe that you are. So she helps you to take you from that point of scruffiness, like where I was, to the point of poise and, you know,
and class.
And proper. All those things that I do not really like, but I have to do it. Well, thank you so much. So, in case people are wondering who Norma Efanga is, today you know her now.
And why she's always on point.
Always. She can't be caught off guard. Can I give you one story?
Oh
Jeez. I have to expose your
to hear the last of that story.
Tell me about
That's
it.
why I went for all night. My first experience with Norma. Hey, Jesus.
All dressed up.
You know how somebody is going, I stopped going to one particular church. You know why? I stopped going to one particular church because they started this very early morning prayer. This was not when early morning prayer used to rain. This was they just started when my son was like a toddler. My son is 16 this year. So they just started the prayer. So me, I would just go, drop off my son at the crèche and wear my nightgown. They hear, I wear my nightgown to the church just to go and pray. So I go back home, shower, then go and about my business. That's how I just woke up one morning. I got to church. I saw eyelash, nails. I said, are we coming to pray or we are coming to do fashion parade? That was how I stopped.
Oh my God.
Only for me to meet Norma years later.
Lagos.
I was inside today is a good day. I was inside all night.
And she was all dressed up.
It's
again.
not even only dress. If you see the smoky eyeshadow and the eyelash, I said, wait. Who comes for an all night? But thank you so
I
much.
can totally relate with you.
Oh my goodness. She forgot to put a part in that story. I was coming straight from my days every day. So
Can I even shock you? She was still a breastfeeding mother. Oh God.
And then the next thing she says, who comes to an all-night service with eyeshadow?
But no, it's actually interesting, and I love having this conversation with you because for me, I've seen a lot of changes, transformation, and transitioning, you know, and I've seen how, you know, just being deliberate about things like that has made life a lot different, you know, and a lot. So, you know, thank you so much again for joining us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So tell us, you know, we're discussing the relevance of appearance, behavior, and communication.
Yeah.
We know right now we're in a world where everything matters.
Absolutely.
I mean, every single detail matters. And because we are in that world where it's in your face, you just say, hi, my name is Isi Ofodle. Somebody's already on Google checking who
Straight
Isi
up.
is. So the image and appearance and everything is even beyond just physical.
Totally.
Even your online presence, every single thing
affects
matters.
every
Absolutely.
aspect.
You know, so
of
tell
it.
us, you know, how relevant is this, you know, for today's world, and are we truly paying attention as a people?
I'm excited that we're talking about this, even though it is something that I'm very passionate about. But I would like to start from the place that I always use to make it easy for people to understand why it is important for them to pay attention in the area of appearance, behavior, and communication. And it comes from this, in the Bible, where it says the golden rule, where it says, do unto others the way you would have them do to you. A lot of people look out for what others are doing wrong, and they forget that they have several fingers pointing to them. And it should be a prompter to tell them that you need to pay attention. There are things that you need to. Every time you look out for the wrong in somebody else, there's 4 times over a reminder for you to look inwards. So it's not just about looking good. That's another So let me demystify it. Being polished is not being a snob, looking at people and wondering who is on my level or not, who measures up or not. That is not what it is. In fact, anyone who looks at people with snobbery is very shallow in thinking. Being mannered or polished, it's not about a boring set of rules and regulations about eating, forks and bowls, and all of those things. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with consideration. And number 3, it's not old-fashioned. The same way being polished, being well-mannered, being groomed in the 18th or 17th or 16th century is how relevant it is in the 21st century. Now, to bring that as a background, when we're talking about why is it relevant for us to pay attention to our appearance, to behavior, to communication, these are 3 aspects of our life that whether we like it or not, like you rightly said, in today's world, even before now, people pay attention to what you represent, not just physically. Now it's gone beyond that. It goes online. It goes to your social media presence. It goes to what YouTube or Google has to say about you, right? So people look beyond, or first look at the image that you have created about yourself. And every single person has the ability to create an image for who they are. That is why I am Nome Fanga, and no one can be the polish coach like I would be. That's why Isi is Isiofodile, and no one can be the elocutionist like she is, because that is her image. No one can be like Uwasale, because there's a way your makeup and everything, who you are put together, represents you as an individual. Now, are people paying attention to that? No, because most of the time, people that you see in today's world, everybody is busy trying to survive. Let me put it that way. So first and foremost, a lot of people put survival first. Yeah. So, I mean, Maslow's hierarchy of, people are looking for what to put in their bellies. So, yes, assuming that is the base, that's where we start. Okay, but there comes a time where you will know that except if you have not grown in your thinking and as a person, then you may not pay attention. But if you are one who is open to learning, at some point you will realize that, for where I'm going, this no longer represents, if I was living on survival mode before, now I have suddenly grown beyond that point to a point where, it's no longer about, the next meal. It's about how do I even plan myself? How do I arrange myself? What kind of impact? What space do I want to occupy? What impact do I want to make? And how do I get there? So that's how you begin to transition. Who you were yesterday shouldn't be who you are today. Totally. Something has changed. Yeah. You have opened yourself to some learning that you say, maybe I should add this on. Mm-hmm. So it's for somebody who continuously looks for opportunities to grow, then you will always be dissatisfied about where you are per time, and you will always open yourself to those opportunities that continue to help you to do that. But until people come to that point where they are students of life, they cannot grow beyond the survival mentality that has completely eroded a majority of the citizens that you see around. So it's the beginning part, and it is important that all of us pay attention to how we appear, behavior, and communication. Because, like I said, it's not about snobbery. It's not it's not something that is for a particular group of people to enjoy. Everybody is deserving of respect, of honor, of dignity, whether they are aware of it or not. And if somebody is polished, then you will know that people are deserving, even if they're poor. Back in the days in the 16th century, you see somebody who is looking all shriveled, but he's still wearing a coat. He will still wear a jacket. He will still wear a hat. And then when they pass somebody, he's looking filthy, but he's still presented in a certain way. He would tip his hat.
Totally.
Do you understand?
No,
So
but-
all of those things. So when you see it's not about poverty, it's not about class or status or gender and all of that. Everybody deserves respect.
Absolutely.
If I see a poor person, even if I can't help you, I can sometimes on the road when you're driving, you see some of those young boys begging. Sometimes just a wave.
Wave, yeah.
To even come, I do not have, when we're gradually becoming a cashless society, so I may not have the means to help you
Totally.
now. But at least, do I have a
So you
drink?
like-
Do I have a bottle of water? I've given somebody, but at least drink water and calm
Calm your
down.
nerves.
Something. I have accorded respect to that person and honor.
Totally.
Who says that in the recesses of their minds that they would that singular act of respect and honor will not register in such a way that it will be paid forward?
Okay, on that note, we are coming back to you. Let's
No
go
problem.
on a quick break. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we are having an amazing chat with Nomai Fanga on how relevant is appearance, behavior, and communication in today's world. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at Wayshow Africa 1 with the hashtag Wayshow. All right, EC, you wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
I'm speaking your
You are speaking my language. Respect is crucial. It's so
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely.
And that's why in today's society, when somebody doesn't accord you a certain level of respect, you tend to, walk away from that person because probably, like you stated, snobbery is being shallow, totally shallow. Now, you said something else about being an old school. I'm an old soul, basically. I believe in the 18th century stuff. I believe that you should court a woman. I believe you should behave in a particular way. I believe you should dress in a particular way. But we have something that we have today, which is between trendy and classy and trashy as well. So can you throw more light into it and in terms of appearance, behaving, appearance, and communication?
All right. Issy, thanks for that question because I'm all clad, probably all the way to my neck. But I want to believe that I look presentable.
Totally.
I want to believe that I look extraordinary. And I want to believe that somebody will be attracted to me.
Totally.
Whether or not that can work. Somebody's eyeing me.
You're attracting
But
the
point-
right clout to
Kind
you
of people,
with
right.
what you're wearing.
So who you are should be represented in what you choose to wear. A lot of people do not know that sometimes you attract the wrong kind of people just because of what you're wearing.
Totally.
And I do not have anything against people who feel so comfortable with themselves, exposing themselves, because there are certain personalities, of course, time will not allow us to go into that. There are certain
Totally.
personalities that are confident enough to be able to, expose themselves in
Throw it all
that
out
direction. But the point is, in dressing, there are just some key things. Dress for comfort. That is very key. I see a lot of people struggle, and I'm wondering, why did you put yourself into this situation when you could have just been comfortable? You can be comfortable, but not tacky. Because some people think that when you are comfortable is to wear joggers and slippers.
Yeah.
And that is for your bedroom.
Yeah.
That is for
So,
your bedroom.
you just touched a very sensitive I'm looking at you.
So comfort, yes, dress for comfort. Dress to be addressed. There's a
Bingo.
way you will come out and somebody will see you, and
So,
instead
but
of
Norma-
telling you, hey baby, they will tell you, hello, even if
Ma'am.
they don't know your name, hello ma'am or madam or something.
Totally.
So wait. Some of us like our shorts.
Right.
And we don't, so I think, right, this subject of dressing should be based on what you do, your job, right? Some people, like me, if you leave me, I'm a sneaker girl any day, anytime. I hate to wear shoes. I hate to wear dress up. I like my my joggers, I like my t-shirts, I like all of those things, right?
Totally.
That's what I love to wear. But I just realized that, okay, there are some places that I'm going to be going to that certain things do not apply.
Totally.
But so that it doesn't look like, oh, at all point, because it is also tiring. I cannot be like this at all.
That's
I want to
the
ask you a
interesting
question.
thing. Can I just respond very quickly to it? That's the interesting thing. With whatever personality you are, there is style that you can add to it to still make you look presentable. Even if you're someone who wears shorts, for example, imagine that, okay, you had some formal and you decided, oh, I really want to wear a pair of shorts. What of putting on a cape on it or something? There's a way you can dress it up. There's a way you can dress it down, depending on where you are going.
But I want to
That's
ask
the
the
key
question
thing.
though,
Yes.
because again, you see, we are so focused, like I said, we're in a superficial world where it seems like everything is about what you look like. Then I size you up from head to toe, Gucci
Check.
shoe,
Okay.
Balenciaga bag, I see a diamond necklace, and I
Versace
think,
lipstick.
yeah, I want to go and hear, I want to speak with her. But people begin to forget that there is content and there's a container.
Oh, yes.
So we are so focused on the container, then the content within. So if we're talking appearance, behavior, and communication, I believe that in that, right, everything also, there's a container part of it, and there's a content part of it.
Yeah.
So how do we translate that into what we bring out, from our mouth? Because again, out of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth
speaks.
Yeah.
So some people, they look all put together, everything just on point.
A lot of people
Totally.
But
these
you
days.
start a conversation
And
and the
nothing.
person is empty, right? So you still would not land the big jobs. You won't get those deals
'Cause you have
signed
no
because you
content.
don't have any content inside. So
Totally.
how do we marry it? Because what I see now is a lot of packaging. A lot of people just want to look a certain part, but inside they are really empty. So you still get to that point where you're struggling
Totally.
to get the
Content.
bag, right?
Yeah.
To get the money. So how do we marry that where this ABC applies within and without, like outside and inside?
That's very important, Uwa, because it's not just about appearance. That's what a lot of people need to understand. Polished behavior cuts across every aspect of your life. It cuts across your attitude. It cuts across your the value that you can bring to the table. So it's a lot. What you have in today's world is that a lot of people pay more attention to the container than the content. The container is important, but the content is even more important. Imagine when people go out and then, they see, very pretty lady. Because a lot of people think women are dumb blondes, right?
Yeah.
So, just pretty on the outside,
Pretty
nothing
face,
inside.
yeah.
Totally.
And then they engage in a conversation and then you take it right up. It's like,
Where did
the
you come from?
impression usually is, wow, who is this? The next thing they want to connect. Can I have your number? Can I have your contact? And the truth of it is content is not even about knowing everything. It's just about knowing a little
key things.
Of everything.
a little of everything, just to be able to contribute to a conversation. So people need to pay more attention to the content, because that is where training comes in. You might be pretty on the outside, but how are you building yourself in the inside? They say that how you know leaders is the quality of the books they read or the things that they expose themselves to.
Totally.
The exposure, how are you viewing, even if you can't travel, for example, what are you checking on social media? Some people are checking other people looking successful and living successful lives, spending so much time watching people who have built themselves. How are you building yourself? How are you searching for things that concern or helps you to continue to grow? What's your word bank like? How much English or how much words do you know how to add? How each day, I have this dictionary that pops up every day. I say word of the day. And that's how I add. So, nice. I find out the meaning and then I try to use it in the course of the day. And somebody hears it, this person sounds very, very intelligent. It's because you are adding value to your content and you're being deliberate about it. You're not focusing on your container alone. So we need more and more people who can, because even though tells on the quality of citizens that you churn out.
Yes.
And that's why the education sector in Nigeria is very, very
Crucial.
important. It's very crucial, because if we do not get it right in the education sector, it's going to determine the quality of human beings
You know,
we're
I
going
was
to be
gonna
churning
say
out
that
in
the
today's
relevance-
world,
Yeah.
and how relevant they are going to be. Because some of them feel like a big fish in small pond until
Totally.
you throw them into the ocean,
Yeah.
and they find out that
They
they are
can't even
such
swim.
tiny fish in big pond. So we must be able to get it right in that area.
You know, I was going to say that in today's world, your competition is not within your, it cannot even be in the country.
Oh no.
So that's why it's important that, you know, at every opportunity you're given, let it not be that you did not come 100%, right? Because
Yeah.
today's world, who I'm going to be competing with might be somewhere in Tokyo or in Japan or in
Yeah.
somewhere in Singapore or in the US.
What do they know? What
Do you
are they
understand?
exposed
What are they
to?
exposed to? What
How
do
have
they
I
know?
exposed to
Myself?
How
do you
have I
understand?
exposed
So
myself
I am
to
on.
what they
I'm,
know?
I'm online. What am I using my internet time for? Am I using it to be, you know,
Am I searching for
upgrading my
content
mind?
that continues to upgrade
Yes,
me
or
as a
I am
person?
bringing myself, you know, just being all about the place. So
Yeah.
people don't understand that it is important until you begin to lose a lot of transactions and you're now wondering what's happening.
If
When
I may
it comes
step
to
in,
you, yeah.
if I may step in, I was going to, you talked about the fact that, you know, what do you do with your time online, and some people do not come in with 100% because they do not know what you're supposed to do as well. And that I want to know where confidence plays, what was the role of confidence in this aspect, basically, because some people might not even know what they're supposed to do. They don't even know that, oh, I'm supposed to upgrade myself in this area, I'm supposed to do this, and this might be tending towards the fact that they lack confidence in themselves. So what's the role of confidence, developing your confidence to actually achieve that goal of behaving and appearing and communicating right?
Thank you, Issy. You know, confidence, I've seen people who are illiterate be very confident. Now, let me tell this joke. There's a man, of course, from our climes, the Igbo people, and he went to buy a car. And then he says, oh, I want to buy this Pathfinder. You know, and then the sales representative said, oh, sorry, sir. It's Pathfinder.
You're not the name.
He said, really? Say, you know the name?
I own
drive
the
the car. I drive the car, you know the name. Right? So there are people who are not that enlightened, but they are confident in that, because confidence has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself.
Totally.
Some people are educated, but they lack confidence because they do not feel good about who they are.
So
It's a struggle, right? So for the person who is confident and doesn't have the finesse, it's just about getting somebody like me, Polish Coach, to train.
Mama, I was going to say that, you know, my sister begged me that I needed to watch some series on Netflix. The one that they say Crazy Rich Africans, or what's that one? The one that Annie Dibia was
Okay,
in.
yes, I saw
Rich
that.
and famous or something.
Rich
Rich and
Famous.
famous,
Yeah.
yeah.
Honestly speaking, watching that series and watching Annie Dibia, I felt really sorry for her. I felt sorry that, you know, you have so much, but because you've not grown into that level of confidence, there was so much, there were so many things that pointed how small she saw herself, first of all, how inferior she felt, and how insecure she was. It was so glaring throughout that thing. I literally was wondering, like, can somebody be like that, where you think everything about your life is dependent? And where I'm going with the conversation is, sometimes the fact that you have crossed to the point where you have money and you can afford a lot of things does not mean
that
you know
you're
how
now
to
suddenly-
appear, you know how to behave, and you know how to communicate.
Totally.
People mistake that,
Totally.
and that's why they are focused on the container. You are looking the part, but you can't sit down in a conversation. And when you said know a bit of everything, like there is no conversation you will throw me inside now today, as
Talk
of today,
about football,
that
sports,
I cannot
something that you can't-
contribute, because again it took years
to
of
grow.
grooming myself right?
Totally.
People don't pay attention to this thing. So when I watched that thing, I felt miserable on her behalf. I felt so sorry for her that really, even the two-faced that we say, oh, he didn't go to school and all those things. He was a lot more confident. He was a lot more presented. He appeared better. He communicated better. He behaved a lot better. So I'm saying that this thing is deeper. Because you know why? You can be in a room and you have the capacity to control $1 billion.
Totally.
But this thing here can make you walk away with nothing because you did not present
Develop
yourself
your
at 100%.
Totally.
So people just pay. They don't look at this thing and they look at it and they say it's nothing. It's a big deal.
It goes a big way.
Oh,
It
I
goes
totally
a long
agree
way.
with you that it's a deeper thing, because the truth of it is that a lot of us do not know that we have unconsciously been programmed to believe that we are nothing and that we cannot amount to anything. And it would take somebody who tells themselves the truth, finds out that there is something that I'm dealing with and I need help in this area. Unfortunately, a lot of people come face to face with that truth, but they are unwilling to confront it or to work on it. So they continue to struggle. Unknowingly to them, everybody can literally see beyond them that they have a struggle, that they are insecure, or that they have problems with themselves. So for confidence, for somebody who is lacking confidence, there are certain things you might want to deal with. You might need a therapist to take you through the process of going through maybe your background, what brought you to be the person that you are today. I, at some point in my life, had to go through therapy because I found out that it's not that I was not I was invisible in some ways, because I came to one understanding, which I went through, came to that understanding that I did not matter, or that I didn't have a voice. So I spent all of my time working to help other people to find their voice. So you were opening the door, but you did not walk through that door. So when I went through therapy, I realized that I have been standing at that door and not giving myself the permission because of what people were going to say, that I'm too powerful for them to understand. And I came to realize that, see, your power is enough. As big as the sky is, all of the stars, there's no star that has fallen down to say, oh, there was no space for me. So they are all shining in their different capacities. So we all have room to shine. Don't be afraid of your of the light that you carry. So when I came to that consciousness, I did not care. I knew that for me, that I had to shine, because I needed to give a lot of people permission
More
to
light
do the same.
as well. Okay, so let's take some comments, yo.
Okay, and my comment goes thus. May I?
Go ahead.
All right, and my comment goes thus, says, greetings, ladies. Greetings, ladies. My special greetings to our able guest, Norma. Honestly, I can totally relate to what you are saying. At not minding my appearance. Thank you so much for today's topic. You ladies really made my night. This is from Gift of Four from Luanda, Angola.
Oh, thank you, Gift.
And there is one more comment, though there's no name here. It says, whenever I'm passing, if I don't have money to give them, I will say hello to them,
Okay, that's to
and
the beggars.
they'll be happy with me. That's from someone who didn't leave.
Our regular fan, hey, Jesus, Daniel, we don't beg you, say, keep the message short. But meanwhile, we're looking for, what's that guy from Jalingo? Bobby Kennedy. I hope you're okay. We've not heard from you in a while. So good evening, my beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? #ways. Concerning the relevance of appearance, behavior, and communication in today's world, people need to go back to school to learn it. Sister Norma said it all. People who are snobbish have a shallow brain.
Totally.
Me, personally, I am Daniel Ilo and will forever be. I happen to be a very nice and friendly person, but you need to see the countenance of people when I want to make them my friends. It is very discouraging and frustrating. They're not friendly at all. It is as if the ground should open and swallow me. Concerning outright and total ban on Okada, there is no crime in the ban. But when you look at the traffic system in Nigeria, that has not improved and getting worse by the day. We need to meet up going somewhere. So anyhow, we still need the Okada to maneuver the traffic. Thank you so much, Daniel. So one more comment from me, then I'll come to you. Okay, that person that sent his name is Talib Jaliba, the one that says he says hi to beggars.
Okay.
Let me see, from Austin. Okay, so appearance is important, from Delta State, Austin, Delta State. It says, like the picture or painted about crazy dressing she saw in the church. Let us be careful. That some pastors allow near nakedness in church does not mean it's fine. Dress up to fit the occasion you are attending.
Absolutely.
What you wear to church, picnic, party, or interview can't be the same. Why should I not pay attention to the container? For communication, let us be careful when to be formal or informal. I feel uncomfortable when an opposite sex asks me, how was your night? And when we're not close while doing business. While discussing business. So I think that how was your night is a question that a lot of people have come up with. I think what I do is I hope you had a good sleep. Right, Nama? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't ask people how was your night. Hope you had a good sleep, and
in
that's all I say.
In elocution, we usually say you don't ask someone.
You don't even ask. I think it's a Nigerian thing,
right?
So
basically,
it's a culture shock for some people to come back and say, "How's your night?"
So
what are you talking about?
You can rephrase it in such a way that it wouldn't seem like you're asking, especially if the person has a spouse or something.
God bless your guest today. No, people are loving you. Watching with my wife, and you hit the nail on the head on many things. I've been sharing with her the importance of. This is from Charles from Kaduna. Norma, you have a final comment.
All right. Yes, I do have this one from Benson, and it says, "Greetings, ladies. Summary of it is like watching the iceberg. Container is what we all see above the water. The size of the ice beneath. How much is it? Good show." So just to comment, because some couple, and that's why some people even grow apart, because one person is growing while the other person continues to stay like that. I was listening to the radio the other day, and somebody said that she had been trying to tell her husband, dress up this way. He feels like he goes to for business, so he doesn't need to. They say it doesn't. And then one day she was traveling to the airport, or she was traveling, and he took her to the airport. Of course, he didn't listen to her. And then he met his old classmates, looking all dressed up, that she pretended that he wasn't even her husband. So it's important in this growth process for people who are married or people in a relationship. Find someone who you can, or if you're already connected, find a way to grow together. It's very, very important. And for Daniel, I think he said trying to make friends and then somebody snubs you. Another thing that I learned, and that's very important about confidence, it's okay for someone to say no to you, but it is not you're not the cause of their problem.
Totally.
Sometimes people are, they cannot deal with your presence and your power, so they try to snub you off. Don't think that you are the problem. They are the ones that have the problem, because most times perception is projection. How people perceive themselves is how they're going to project it on us.
It's okay. You have given please, for those that do not know, some of us wait. Let me finish my point. Some of us paid money. Look at me very well. Some of us we paid money for this thing. So you go and pay money. It's okay. Don't talk too much again. I have resourceful people on my team, so we don't just brag, but we know where we are going. But thank you so much, Norma. We had fun. I think we should do this more often. So what I want us to do, I'm still trying to wrap up my head around it. A lot has been pressing on my mind for us to turn our Wednesdays to something where we're able to give back a lot of things. And I have been getting a lot of good reviews. So very soon we'll be making very good announcements for people. And the give back cuts across everything. And trust me, it is massive, and we're looking forward to it. We're going to be starting that very soon, so look forward to watching us every Wednesday. So Norma will be coming back to give us more tips. We can just start a locution class one day.
Some of the words, mispronounced words.
I'm telling you, we should do a show on that.
I do that sometimes.
No, on the show.
And it's not about phone.
It's okay. They say we should wrap up.
It is about the sound.
It's okay. Before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. So Show Africa. You can drop or comment and interact with us further. Make sure you follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share. Please, most importantly, invite other people to watch. You can't be loving us alone. Share the love. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Refinement is that polishing down of the human being, casting out that which is coarse and vulgar, and retaining that which is fine and elegant. Oh, you see me like this? I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen.
You're such a drama queen.
I am.
Today on The Breakfast, bandits attack commuters along the Abuja-Kaduna highway, abducted an unspecified number of travelers.
Also on The Breakfast, many people reportedly killed during clash between traders and commercial motorcyclists, popularly called Okada riders, at the Dede community in Abuja Municipal Area Council.
And like always, we will be reviewing the major stories making headlines across major dailies. Good morning to you. This is The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. I am Justin Akadonye.
I am Messi Popo. Beautiful morning, and it's good to have you join us.
Yes, it is a beautiful morning. How is the morning for you? It rained in some parts of Lagos today. I don't know if it is raining around you, but whatever it is, just try and take things easy. You know how it could be when it rains in Lagos, maybe some parts of Nigeria. So just try and take things easy so you can get to your destination on time, and just be aware of how things work, and don't try and fight people on the road. I'm just saying that out of experience. All right, I will just slide on to top trending. Remember the Accountant General of the Federation who was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over an 80 billion naira fraud. Well, the latest in that particular story is that he has been suspended by the federal government. I think it's just about time. It's only logical that he gets suspended when he's, in the middle of an investigation.
Okay, so so apparently we're waiting that there will be a court action to it. I mean, it has to be proven that he's found guilty. Is that what we're waiting for?
It has to go to court. That's a normal thing
So
to do.
we would say that it's a commended action by the government, right?
Are you asking?
No, I'm just trying to understand what all of
No,
this
but
means.
logically, if you're in office and you're involved in some sort of investigation, you have to step aside. And of course, I don't know if it's going to be an indefinite suspension. I don't know the terms, but it's expected, really. It's not as if it's a big thing, really, if you ask me.
Well, like you said, it's not as if it's a big deal. I mean, we
No,
have
it's not.
seen
It's not.
all of this process. We have seen all of this, and some people will say it's IGG. It's just
What does IDD mean?
oh, my initial gra.
Oh, IGG. Oh, really?
So let's just hope that it's also not one of those, practice or behavior and process that we have when it has to do with a public office. Because right now, I think that there's a lot of trust deficit. The people are already questioning and querying, the pattern and behavior of government. Oh, we have seen this before. It's nothing new. What exactly is going to happen afterwards? He might just be still on the salary scale. I mean, getting his salary or something. Or probably before you just wake up and toss to the other side, you just imagine that he's been promoted. So these are, yes, it's true. And
Just
people
like
have-
what happened with Mago, right?
Exactly. So people are not really excited, especially for a government that says that they are bent on fighting corruption. The reason that you came on, a certain mantra. So you say corruption, the fight against corruption, economy, and of course security. All of this, 7 years and counting. What do we have to show for? It feels like the fight against corruption is nepotistic. It also looks as though, even though the presidency and the president had taken time before having these persons as members of his cabinet. You know how long it took the president to constitute members of his cabinet?
Yeah, but well, what we can see on our screen right now is the letter of suspension, signed by the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, following a recent arrest by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on allegations of diversion of funds and money laundering. I write to convey your suspension from work without pay effective 18th May. That's yesterday. This is to allow for proper and unhindered investigation into the serious allegations in line with Public Service Rules 030406. Okay, so it went on to say that during that period that he's not allowed to, be at his place of work or contact any official except for any disciplinary hearing that may be advised. It also said it's expected that he will strictly comply with any instructions that will be forwarded to him in his current location on unknown recorded address as stipulated in the extant rules. So, well, let's just believe the letter for what it is. He is on suspension without pay. I hope he will not be given any other appointment in the future.
I don't know why you're looking at me in that manner, but the point is, it's okay. I mean, it's part of the process, like you have rightly mentioned.
Yes, it is.
It's what's right, it's what's obtainable, that's what should have been done, or that's what should be done.
Yes.
But how effective would that be is also another question. We're here and we'll definitely bring
We'll
you up to speed
monitor
with what's unfolding.
All right, let's stay away from the AGF for a bit, and let's talk about something that's equally trending here in Lagos. Commercial motorcycle operators, popularly known as Okada, they will not be allowed to apply in 6 local government areas as announced by the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, And specifically, let me just read that the local government areas are Ikeja, Surulere, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Apapa axis of the state. Mercy, a lot of people that would say that this is not the first time this
but is this the first time?
It is not. The Lagos traffic law is still in force. There is a law concerning that restricting this Okada riders from flying. I can't remember the number of routes now in Lagos since 2012. I remember covering transportation then. So it's been over 10 years, and there's been some back and forth. There's the issue of a helmet, there's the issue of some specific bikes that could ply, some routes. But right now, specifically, indefinitely, they are saying, as the Lagos State government is saying, that these Okada riders cannot ply, along those 6 local government areas.
So, I mean, it's not the first time, so it's nothing new. Let's see how all of that pans out for the Lagos State government.
It's actually...
But in I also think that there was a refresher in 2021, in 2020, if I'm not mistaken, again, where you say you're banning. Now, if you ban a thing, it's been banned.
Yeah, it's
so
still
how
in
did
force.
we... yes. How did we come back to 2022 and we say you're banning what has been banned?
Okay.
It feels like...
I think all of this is just coming up with, the fracas that happened.
No, but that's not the point.
Okay, what's the point?
The point is, if you have done your due diligence since 2012, we will not be in this position in 2022.
Yes.
So it means that at the end of the day, if you say there was a ban that was put out, you don't need to have Okada riders and all of this, then all that was banned should have been banned.
Yes, a lot of things happen with this. Sometimes a lot of people would say that the government soft pedals when it comes to times of election, because the bulk of the supporters are from the hinterlands and all of that. So during the election period or an election year, they tend to just go easy on some of their rules, so they don't seem as though they're trying to offend, some segment of the society. And
really,
that's what people say. Really.
So do you think that this is actually the situation?
But this time around, it's actually different, because if you ask
What's
me,
different?
what I mean different as in ordinarily during an election year they would be soft on some laws, but right now they're actually throwing the sledgehammer, despite the fact
What
that
sledgehammer are we talking about from 2012?
Clamping down
Clamping what down?
on Okada
It
riders.
wouldn't have been if they have kept to the rules. If
They
you
did.
say for how
But
long?
they actually relented a bit.
It doesn't mean anything. I mean, the fact that we also have a statement saying that you're banning a game. Why are you banning?
So
banning? You buy something and you're banning a game.
You can't even ban again. Okay, initially
Because it's been banned.
No, initially it was not a ban.
It was what?
It was not a ban. The highlights of the Lagos traffic law of 2012 restricted Okada riders from flying some major routes. But right now, what they are saying is that there'll be no Okadas generally in those 6 areas. Before now, you could actually fly what did you call them, for the feeder roads and everything. But right now, you cannot even fly the feeder roads along those 6 corridors.
So just as just as it happened in 2012, I really don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how the Lagos State government is going to achieve it. Just with as you have it with every other government, it's a thing of not being effective and not being strong on policy implementation. And so it feels like we're going to go back in the same circle. Okay. So we're just going to be back and back again. Well, if you also look at the argument that's been put out, it's like saying the government had said at some point we're going to ban the importation of foreign rice to Nigeria, so we need to ensure that there's local production. The question would be, what plans have you put in place to cushion all of this effect? With feeder roads, you cannot joke. Feeder roads will always be feeder roads, and you know how this city is. So there's it's almost impossible.
I think it might just be to stem the tide because of what just happened recently. So maybe they want a bit of an order and calmness in that area. Let's see, and how. But maybe over time, I think they might relax some of those measures.
What's the essence then?
For now, there is a crisis. There are issues. That people, someone was killed, and there are clashes in a particular area. So you wouldn't just let it be like.
And you don't think that would further trigger it will further trigger a lot of actions from this other community. Because if you see this community that we're talking about, I mean, it has a lot of strong presence. You know how these people can be. So it's also a security concern.
That's
a lot of security
that's one of the reasons.
for us.
That's one of the reasons why okay, let's hear from the governor. I understand we have a track. Let's listen to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and what he said precisely concerning this particular development.
The whole of Ikeja local government, the whole of Sule local government, the whole of Intiosa local government, the whole of mainland local government, the whole of Apapa local government, and the whole of Lagos Island local government. A total ban on this and all of the highways effective from the 1st of June. This is the first banning that we're going to be embarking on, so that others know that in a short while it's either to get out or for something else to do. And from 1st of June, there are LCDs that are underneath them. We're going to publish them. We're going to list all of them, and so we're given the notice now, right, where you can begin to do your recce, begin to do, your strategy. From the 1st of June, please, we want all of the Okada to be completely off this major road. The whole of Ikeja local government, the whole of Sule local government, the whole of Intiosa local government, the whole of mainland local government, the whole of Apapa local government, and the whole of Lagos Island local government. A total ban on this and all of the highways effective from the 1st of June. This is the first banning that we're going to be embarking on, so that others know that in a short while it's either to get out or for something else to do. And from 1st of June, there are LCDs that are underneath them. We're going to publish them. We're going to list all of them, and so we're given the notice now, right, where you can begin to do your recce, begin to do, your strategy. From the 1st of June, please, we want all of the Okada to be completely off this major road.
All right, welcome back. There, you just heard from the Lagos State government talking specifically about this new development and the 6 local governments involved. And the governor said it is a total and indefinite ban.
Okay.
Okay, now you're okay, sounds very okay.
I mean, it's commendable of the governor to say all of that, but let's see how the implementation goes. The Lagos State government, with the ban, has not been very effective in implementing the ban, so we don't know how this would go. Maybe this would just be a change that everyone has been expecting. But the next question would be, if you make this ban, have you also considered other factors? For instance, I know that in some states who say we're banning Okada from the roads, but you have the fact that the major roads, they can't ply the major roads, and so they will still have to deal with the feeder roads because some people live in communities where it's a feeder road because it takes you to the road, the major road. That's why it's a feeder road. So it can't take. So if you take a passenger from a certain location, of course they live in a feeder road. So the feeder road leads to the major road. So what happens? Because
no,
sometimes
I think there are alternatives.
What alternatives? No, you don't.
No, they have. No, for some roads, I don't know. Maybe not in all local government areas, but some feeder roads they still have this commercial motor. Tricycles, that still operate there, that walk within roads. I know that I've seen some of them along Limosho, and they still have some of these mini vans, locally called them Kurokbe or something. That also
it's actually not in all the local government, and like we would say, it can be difficult where you have to walk like 20 minutes or 25 minutes to get to the feeder road. It's a lot of time right there. So I doubt how this is going to pan out, but let's see how it works out. If you look at history and antecedent, we haven't really fared well.
Have some faith. Faith can move mountains.
Say faith without works is dead. So
now you're preachified me. Come on. Deaconess Mercy, All right, let us move away from the Lagos, traffic law and the ban on Okada in 6 local government areas. I think it's a season of, well, it's not really new because when you find things like this happening, you wonder what happens to people, morality, what happens to people's, sense of reasoning. And for instance, when you are placed to manage funds in an area that has been marginalized or allegedly marginalized over the years, and there is a commission set aside to bring development to that particular region, and we hear of mismanagement of funds, we hear of fraud for monies that would ordinarily be used to develop that particular community. What am I saying? Just the other day, it was the Accountant General of the Federation, but today, again, what we hear is that the EFCC has arrested ex-NDDC MD Nsima Ekere over alleged 47 billion naira fraud. NDDC, Niger Delta Development Commission.
And so some people would say that it's because of the corruption. I mean, there's a lot of concern that's been raised about the NDDC. And the fact that attention needs to be paid. And if you look at the fact that you still have the agitations ongoing, you ask yourself what's going on. Even with the main resources that you have, or the fact that you have, an agency or such, you expect to see a little bit of result, not exactly, not entirely, but you should see. So it's, for me, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised because a lot is going on. I think it's just when the authorities decide to pan, the light, searchlight to a particular area, and that's when they get the result. But it's very embarrassing. It's really, really embarrassing that those who should be custodian of the resources that we have are taking advantage of the system. It just shows you the kind of system that we have. He probably wouldn't have gotten his way out of all of this. We're talking about 47 billion naira. You hear 80 billion naira. That's a lot. He would definitely have persons in the system who have been aiding this process. It's not possible that he would run by himself.
No, it's not a solo effort.
So it's not a solo thing. He didn't do this on his own. He probably had people who have aided and continue to aid and abate this,
And yeah, we talk of restiveness in the Niger Delta, and the youths are taking up all sort of, taking up to militants and all of that. When monies that have been, earmarked for development in the particular region are not even used for it, and some set of people are just looting the monies away.
Apart from that, you also find out that sometimes when these resources come, you also see the agitation within different communities where they come out to cry and all of that. There's no sincerity of purpose at the end of the day. So people would come out, but they also have their different interests and reason why they are crying and clamoring for such. And at the end of the day, personal interests always supersedes national interests. The reason why we are underdeveloped and we are the way we are today, you could actually hear statistics and institutions making reference to the fact that Nigeria is the capital, the headquarters of, poverty or capital poverty, however you want to put it. It's because of the fact that those who should be calling or those who are calling the shots, those who are manning the affairs of the country at different strata, have decided to put their personal interest above national interest, and that's the result, and that's what we're seeing. So we constantly see all of this. It's really amazing. I'm just imagining that you take out 47 billion naira, but the policy is going to go on. The law would say that you're not guilty until you're being proven by a court of competence jurisdiction. And so over to the law, over to the judicial system, and let's see how all of that pans out. But we have to be very deliberate about the fight against corruption. We cannot continue to mount one thing and act differently and behave in a certain way. And like I always say, you might never have the opportunity to become the president or the governor or a House of Representative member or whatever it is. I mean, let's begin to look at the elective position, including the appointive. But in your little sphere, imagine that we're all doing what's obtainable and what's expected. You're doing the right thing in your different sphere. we will not be
See
where
the
we are
changes
today.
that we have been looking for, craving over the years.
So we're here because we have allowed personal interests to rob us of national development and national interest. We don't care about the people. We don't care about any other thing. We care about ourselves. We care about, the flamboyant lifestyle we want to live as political office holders. What are you going to be doing for 7 billion naira, really? Like, how much can you consume? So you're taking that enough for not just yourself, maybe for your unborn generation, really.
You've capped it all up. It's just selfishness and not caring about the people who you're supposed to be, fending for their interest. Well, that's it on Top Trending for this morning. Top Trending returns again tomorrow on The Breakfast. But this time around, we'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll go straight to Off the Press. Stay with us.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment on winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
How can we have peace without justice?
It's time for the papers. We call it Off the Press on The Breakfast this morning. Ezekiel Yaitok is on standby. He joins the conversation from the FCT. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be on your station. Thanks for having me.
All right, a pleasure as well. We start off with the Nation newspaper this morning. Why APC changed dates for governorship or the primaries? It's the bold caption on the Nation. Election of presidential candidates May 29 and 30th. Party fears INEC sanctions. Of course, INEC is very, very bent on doing the right thing. Lockdown in Southeast state over Nnamdi Kanu lockdown in Southeast State over Nnamdi Kanu, especially when, bail application has been rejected. And you also have judge denies IPOP leader bail. That's a rider underneath. Away from that, Malami Ngige, silver talon to know fate soon. It's also another caption this morning on The Nation. More endorsement for Tinubu in Kwara and Benue. Again, Lagos restricts Okada operation in 6 councils. Ongoing legal battle likely to delay the Alafin's selection. Okay. 47 billion naira probe. EFCC detained ex-NDDC MD Timai Kara, and Minister suspends Accountant General on the probe for 80 billion naira fraud. And we also take this one quickly before we move away from The Nation newspaper. Court declares Adeleke as PDP candidate. 5 die in Abuja market fire. PDP once again rigging. Talking about the Ekiti 2022 elections. Rejects PDP, SDP, Fayemi tells women. And Iniedo campaigns against violence. The headlines you find this morning on The Nation newspaper.
Well, moving on to the Leadership newspaper. The lead story for this morning, APC PDP in game of hide and seek over primaries with some riders. 24 hours after opposition parties' adjustment of activities, governing party reschedules timetable, we are not bothered by APC's antics, says PDP. A race between Amechi and me, says Badaru. Atiku vows to crush bandits. Kwankwaso Shekarau form an alliance against APC PDP in Kano. All right, PMB to decide returning minister's fate. That's the federal government saying. Alleged 80 billion naira fraud. Federal government suspends accountant general. Federal government approves 169 billion naira private sector investments in road. Abuja timber market burnt over woman's death. All right, let's see if there are other stories we can take on the Leadership. Police kill 6 bandits, arrest kidnappers, killers of Greenfield Bethel students. Those are all of the stories on the front page of the Leadership newspaper.
Away from the Leadership newspaper, we take a quick look at the Daily Independent. On the Daily Independent newspaper, returning ministers await Buhari's reabsorption verdict. Malami Talan attend federal executive meeting. It's a rider. Ngige Silva's fate hangs in the balance. And 5 yet killed and shops burnt as trader Okada riders clash in Abuja market. Federal government suspends Attorney General over alleged 80 billion naira scam, postpones FAAC meeting. And APC adjustment date of presidential and Guber National Assembly primaries. Or APC adjust dates of presidential, Guber and National Assembly primaries. Now, fingers are crossed to see what becomes of INEC in this situation, especially that's a ruling party. Denies zoning presidential, vice presidential ticket to the northeast and the southeast. Very interesting. And the Lagos State Governor, Sanwo-Olu, orders total ban on Okada in 6 local governments, 9 LCDAs. Gunmen kill Ebonyi LGA chairman and 3 relatives and security guard. Ohaneze Islam's NEF over cessation comment on Southeast. You also have the Osun 2022 court affirms Adeleke as PDP Guber candidate. Court adjourns trial to May 26, denies Nnamdi Kanu bail. EFCC quizzes and detains ex-NDDC MD Sima Ekere. The headlines you found this morning on the Daily Independent.
And finally, the Punch newspaper. APC governorship primaries. Tough battles in Oyo, Sokoto, Rivers as 44,045 delegates elect candidates. Amechi Abe supremacy battle result in gunshot chaos. Factions trade words. APC denies zoning. Presidency shifts north. Okay. APC denies zoning presidency. Shift north on National Assembly governorship primaries. Jet A1 orders may push flight above 100,000 naira. That's according to domestic airlines. 80 billion naira fraud. EFCC uncovers 17 properties linked to accountants general. 25 presidential aspirant field submitted some, says APC. Anambra police warn against violence as court denies Kanu bail. ASIP on strike for 147 days under Buhari. Imported vehicles, customs to redeploy. Controversial evaluation policy on Friday.
Well, let's have Ezekiel Yaitok, who joins the conversation. He's a public affairs analyst all the way from Akwa Ibom State, speaking to us, prior to your previous introduction. Ezekiel Yaitok, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Thanks for having me. I hope my audio is clear.
Loud and clear.
Thank you.
Let's start off with the Nation. On the Nation, it talks about the APC and change of date for governorship and other primaries. What do you think of this? What do you make of the situation? Especially that INEC is saying that they cannot go back on changing the timetable because of the implication it would have on the entire electoral process.
You see, there's this palpable fear between the parties. That's why APC in particular is concerned that if they are not careful in handling their timelines, they may have a lot of aggrieved people who, if they are not given the party ticket, may very likely move to other parties. And as a result, they are playing the cat and mouse game between APC and PDP. That's why you see the PDP adjust its timetable, and almost immediately the APC finds reason to also adjust their timetable. It's just to see to what extent they will effectively frustrate aggrieved members from crossing from one party to the other, because as it stands, none of the parties has what you call members. They only have interested parties. What that means is that their allegiance is not to any party whatsoever, it's to their personal interest. So wherever they think their personal interest will be better served, they will move there. So you can imagine a man would be in APC in the morning, and in the afternoon he's in the PDP. And he doesn't mind moving to another party, anytime along the line. I will tell you something very interesting that happened, in the last general elections. There were a lot of aggrieved people in PDP. No, not the last. I think it was 2015. A lot of aggrieved people in PDP and APC, and all of a sudden they decided they would rather team up with the third force, even the five key governors that left, and they moved to ADC. And while they were at it, all of a sudden, Mr. Atiku came in, and we are told he made very great offers. We'll give you back your ticket, we'll give you support and everything, and boom, they all moved back to PDP. That's when they now moved from APC. They came into ADC, but they moved out back to PDP. And so the movement is so fluid that no party is sure these are my members. As a result, you find them all the time being very apprehensive and trying to outdo each other. So if PDP adjusts its timelines again, you'll be surprised that APC will find reason to do that again. I think the person that is on the driving seat now is more like the other parties. APC is having a lot of challenges, and that's why they can find it very difficult to tell you the direction they are going to take and whether there's going to be a consensus. And if you read the current Electoral Act, there are people in, I'm told, or rather I've come to believe, there are people in APC that are just waiting to play the spoiler. They've left the party in their heart, but they are waiting for you to do that consensus. And they're going to tell you, no, we're not going to agree. And there's going to be a lot of this. I want to encourage the so-called smaller parties to take themselves serious, because these guys, that impunity, thinking they can do and undo anything, is going to lead to a lot of disqualification, because they are going to take a lot of actions that will not stand in the court of law. As a result, we need to pray for the judiciary to be able to look less on money and focus more on justice to the people. I think that the smaller parties, so to speak, ADC and all the others, they should get themselves ready, because a lot of the big parties in many of the states are going to be disqualified. And what happened in Imo State not too long ago might just play out again, where the first person was disqualified, the second person couldn't take it, the third person couldn't take it, and it went to the fourth person. The current governor of Imo State was number 4 on the ballot. Today he's the governor. So I just want to tell the so-called smaller parties to take themselves serious, because the impunity, there's a saying in our language, what that means that the hand you used to catch fly. You now see not a fly this time, a bee, and you mistake a bee for a fly, and you take the hand that you used to catch fly to catch a bee. You don't have to be told what the consequence will be. I think that APC and PDP, they are mistaking a bee for a fly. And the current INEC, I believe, will live to its billing of an institution we should be proud of.
All right, let's stay with the Nation newspaper. There are some very interesting stories, but let's talk about Malami Ngige, silver talent, soon to know fate.
I find it very disturbing and very unfortunate. You see, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, there are many regrets that he will have when he leaves office. Very many regrets. One of the regrets was him not being able to draw a line between the office of the president and the person of Obong, God help me, Buhari. The reason is that Obong Buhari is at liberty to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. He's at liberty to do that. But the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not enjoy such liberties. He does things that he must do, even if he doesn't like to do it. For instance, if I don't like to wake up before 9 or 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I like to wake up about 11 o'clock, the office of the president requires you to wake up early enough and be up to work during working hours, because the Constitution has clearly stated working hours in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And if you are a president that cares about rule of law, while there will be sometimes exceptions, you want to work within that tightrope for that period you have accepted that assignment and responsibility. To that extent, there are certain body language that is not okay. For instance, if a man has resigned his appointment, gone to the extent of buying an expression of form to contest an office, and you have come to say that all those that want to contest for any election should leave my office, it's not about whether the law says or the law does not say. It did not say according to section. It just said, if you want to contest election, I would like you to leave my office. And these people that contested election, he had no business. And when he was having a valedictory service, for them, they were there. So it should be given how the central bank governor is back when they said he's a card-carrying member of the party. The ward chairman came and said so. How that person who is now partisan should walk back to the central bank, I can't understand. How the other ministers, whom we know had tendered their resignation, should walk back to their offices, I don't understand. How the Attorney General, is he going to seek for legal advice from who? The same Attorney General that is involved? What does he hope to hear? I just think that, Mr. President, those who love him, his people, should talk to him. Because when he leaves office, he will really know the people that work with him. And I think that he should have a discussion at this point with former President Jonathan. How on his way back, on the same day that he left office, on his way back at the airport, he was denied access into the presidential waiting. The same day he leaves office. I mean, it would just be, for goodness sake, taken for granted. Even that last, and the villa became a ghost town. You need to read some things and listen to some things from people like Mr. Ruben Abati. Mr. President should not be oblivious of this. They say that the memory of man is treacherous. But if you cannot remember your own, at least learn from current experiences and let him sit up and do the right thing so that we can hail him. I've already hailed him for signing the Electoral Act, and I've said that whatever crime he commits or sin he commits between now and end of his tenure, I have forgiven in advance. One day, Nigerians will know why I've made such a strong statement. That Electoral Act, we can monkey with it, but one day we'll wake up and see what is inside, and it was the hand of divinity that moved Mr. President to sign it, which gives me the confidence that God is still in charge of the affairs of this country.
Let's also look at, the arrest by EFCC of ex-NDDC MD and Sima Ekere over alleged 47 billion naira. And some people are saying that it's just a stunt to prove that the fight against corruption, it's very effective. But really, looking at this, we also know that the Court of Competence jurisdiction is expected to prove all of this. What do you make of it?
You see, the case of Mr. Nsima Ekere is a case that if you are from Akwa Ibom State, you look at it from a completely different perspective and paradigm. When did he leave office? And why is this just coming up suddenly? They've just finished investigations, right? Anyway, the thinking around Akwa Ibom is that after the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs had resigned, that one of the possible, very, very possible candidates for a replacement would be Mr. Nsima Ekere, who is a very, very, very highly placed party member. And that there are some organizations, some bodies, some institutions, some persons that are really, really uncomfortable with Mr. Nsima Ekere coming back as the MD of the Niger, as the minister of the Niger Delta, and going back to supervise the NDDC, where a forensic audit was carried out, and we have not seen anybody implicated. I think the first body that should have implicated Mr. Nsima Ekere should have been the forensic audit, and we didn't see anything. While I'm not holding brief for him, I'm wondering why all of a sudden it's coming out now. But my position is, you do the crime, you do the time. But that doing the crime has to be by a competent court of competent jurisdiction. All along since he left office, we've not heard anything. But as soon as the minister of the Niger Delta resigned, the case came up, 46 billion. And they should be careful how they even handle that matter. Because that oil, if he pour, they may have to ask what he did with the 46 billion, if it is true. This country, we played the ostrich too much. How do you fund elections? Mr. President doesn't know how elections are funded. He doesn't know. Honestly, for real, Malami does not know how elections are funded. I think one day the story of this country will be told. One day, people will arise who will put the interests of this country first. One day, people arise who will not care whose ox is God. That's why I'm saying, come 2023, please let's stop all this APC, PDP, APC, PDP, APC, PDP. Let Nigerians wake up to know that they have a choice. They have an alternative. They have competent people whose hands have not been soiled by the corruption that has pervaded and brought us to our knees to become the poverty capital of the world. That day should come now, today. We cannot allow people in the villages who do not have a clear understanding of what is going on to just be collecting 10 naira, 1,000, 5,000 to elect the next president while we sit down on television and do analysis, while we sit down on Facebook and on social media and do critics, and yet we do not go and get registered, we don't get our PVC, we do not inform our people, we not enlighten ourselves and make sure that we take informed decision. As a result, what do you think is going on? Politics. Forget about this issue of he took money, he didn't take money. They all know. If he took money, it was for them. There's nothing that Mr. Nsima Ekere as an individual will do for something billion. It's not even possible for him to take it except there's an understanding from the top. To get a billion, like you talk of the accountant general, to get money out of system is not as easy. A billion is not a million, it's not 1,000. It's a lot of money. You can't zoom such money without an understanding of the system. And what was the money we used for? It was to service the system. So they should please spare me all this being holy for nothing. They are not. They are not. They are all complicit. They are all, my time is up.
Let's also look at other headlines that we do have here. And it also talks about, on the leadership, it talks about President Muhammadu Buhari deciding to decide returning minister's fate. You know, when the president gave that order asking that those who have intention to vie for any political office should resign their position, especially that they are appointed. Just re-echoing what the law says. Now it's on the other side because the president also still have to decide the fate of these ministers. I find it very hilarious. But Ezekiel, can you hear us? Yeah, I talk.
I find it very hilarious. But Ezekiel, can you hear us? Yeah, I talk.
So I feel like we have a delay, or more like a delay in communication. As soon as we're able to establish proper contact with Ezekiel Yaitok, we will return with that question. But Justin, like I said, I find it very interesting. It's funny because, the president would always appoint, those he would appoint members of his cabinet, the ministers and what have you. And that's within his capacity to do all of that. And then he felt like they don't understand the dynamics of the entire situation. And then the president went further on to say, you have to resign if you have any interest. So now for those who want to return, it's also an issue because the president can decide to say, who sent you in the first place?
Yes, no, it is. He actually decides who he wants.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but please excuse me.
No, it is true that he has the right to appoint whoever he chooses, although it's subjected to approval, by the Senate. So if he's told you to resign if you have political interest,
not because he's re-echoing what the law says. Mm-hmm. The law is very specific.
Even if the law didn't say that, the fact is that he can decide to ask you to go whenever he wants to.
No, so it's a bit dicey. It's a bit dicey, right? You know how it is that you say that instruction has been given despite the fact that the law. So I just think that the president had to echo it, but we have queried the fact that the way that the president to echo this
can't even do what is right without even
before having the president or someone poke you, to act in a certain direction. Mm. Now, on the other hand, is that because you were appointed as a minister, you were appointed by the president. It's within his jurisdiction. He has the right to appoint whoever, subject to the scrutiny of the Senate. Now that this minister coming back,
they want to come back. Who bring
they
them
want to
back?
come back. The president also can decide to say,
No.
okay, you.
I don't want
I don't want you.
anyway.
But do you think it would be very logical and sensible to have? How many more days do we have before?
The fact that if you resign, you resign. So why are you coming back to come and do what?
No, but it's okay. I mean, because it's within the ambience. I mean, it's within his jurisdiction to act. My question would now be: do you think the president would act differently? Would he still welcome them back?
I can't speak for the president.
No, I'm just saying.
But the truth is that if you have resigned, don't even just take your load and go to your house. If the president will now decide to appoint someone else to fill in the space.
So would it be logical? Let's
to
even
bring
look at
them
the
back
fact that
after they've resigned? No.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. You're saying it's not logical to bring them back.
Or for the president to bring them back after asking them to resign.
But how many more days do we have up until 2020, 2023? 2022 is over?
Yeah, we have to the elections. We have, to the handover. We have barely a year.
So do you think it's sensible to have the president appoint, not bringing them back, but have to appoint new ministers?
Of course, it's possible, yes.
And
they could be a minister for 6 months.
It's all right. So we have Ezekiel I took back online. Ezekiel, it's good to have you join us this morning.
All right, I think we're still having a similar challenge with Ezekiel. But that's as much as we will take.
Can you hear me?
We have him?
Yes, we can hear him now.
Ezekiel, can you hear us?
No, I can't hear you. I can only hear you from the TV, which I shouldn't because it's delayed and there will be feedback. I can't hear you from my...
All right, Mr. Ezekiel, I must say a very big thank you for all the thoughts that you have shared on Off the Press for this morning. We do appreciate your time. All right, we'll take a quick break right now, and not before telling you what happened this day in history. Stay with us.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. The relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam, you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi. Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to...
All right, welcome back. We are now talking insecurity. The Abuja-Kaduna highway is in the news yet again. The bandits have attacked commuters along the Abuja-Kaduna highway and abducted an unspecified number of travelers. The spokesman of the Kaduna Police Command, Mohammed Jalige, said the bandits had about 4:20 p.m. blocked the Audogbe portion of the highway near Katari village. He said they intercepted some vehicles and during the process took some persons away to an unknown destination. Now, Jalige said the prompt response and arrival of security operatives attached to the highway prevented the terrorists from abducting more travelers. The spokesman explained that security operatives engaged the criminals in a gun duel and successfully repelled them from further attacks. According to him, normalcy was immediately returned to the highway following the clearance operation, enabling motorists to continue their journey. We have security experts, Yahuza Gets joining us right now. Good morning to you, Yahuza. Thanks for staying with us.
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, team.
All right, Yahuza, we've talked so much concerning Abuja-Kaduna Highway. One would have thought that by now measures would have been put in place to forestall these attacks to just continue unabated. Although the police operatives were saying that they were able to put the situation under control in a short time. But how do you react to all of that?
Well, I want to tell you and the listeners and our viewers that it is the inability of the government to take its constitutional responsibility. That is why this attack happened. That is one. And secondly, it is a message to federal government and the Nigeria Railway Corporation and Ministry of Transport. And third, it's a message to Nigerians that describe and explain more that Buhari administration is never a serious government, is never a committed government, and is never ready to fulfill any of its promises in respect to securing this nation and making this nation and delivering this nation to the next level from where it was. It is very clear that the conduct of these bandits is as a result of negligence from the government and security agencies. Government keep telling lies. Buhari administration keep deceiving Nigerians. Security operatives haven't been able to do their job. From the time when the Kaduna-Abuja train was attacked, about 50 to 55 or 60 days ago, I have been flying the Kaduna-Abuja route at a different intervals of early hours in the morning, early morning, and afternoon time, light afternoon, early hours of the evening, early hours of the night, and even in the midnight. And I have been driving myself, and I have never seen anything that can build your confidence and trust that you are safe and secured as you move. So it is just because we cannot neglect our parents who are at the far end of where we are. Because, for example, I based in Abuja and my parents based in one remote area of Kano State. So I have no alternative. I have to go and visit my aged sick mother and also my relatives. So likewise, all other people from Sokoto, Katsina, Zamfara, Kebbi, Bauchi, Taraba, Yobe, Adamawa, and alike, which have a connection with Kaduna, because Kaduna is a political and administrative city of northern Nigeria. More or less, it has a direct connection to south, southeast, north central, and southwest. So for that, this is an effort to cripple the economic activity of northern region, to cripple the political activity of northern region, to cripple the social and psychological well-being of northern region. And it means that it is a calculated attempt, and it is given a clear instrument and a description that someone somewhere else is behind what is happening. Lai Mohammed, the spokesperson of the federal government under Buhari's watch, as well as the Minister of Information, have made mention many times, among other principal officers of Buhari administration, that we know who are the financiers of these bandits. We know where they are. But yet, in the last 6 years to 7 years, they have not done anything to deal with them. So this exhibit and explain that Buhari administration is never a serious administration, and it has exposed their weaknesses and inability to deliver their mandate, their constitutional mandate.
All right, Yahoo.
In fact, all they are responsible. The government is supposed to have resigned because of its inability to perform. They have failed woefully, and we have provided a preliminary information to intelligence and government at all levels about these bandits. And I have made mention, I am from northern Nigeria, and I said all the northern elite knows the location of these bandits. I know the locations of these bandits. All the security agencies, the divisional police officers of the respective local governments, and the traditional authorities of the respective communities and respective emirates in northern Nigeria, they all know these bandits and they know where they are. And all the security personnel, they know these bandits and they know their locations. Nasser Ahmed El-Rufai have testified to the statement I have been making in the last 6-7 years. I challenge Buhari administration and I challenge the security agencies.
Yahuza Getso.
Yes, please.
Following the thoughts of your conversation, if you say that everybody knows the situation of, the location of these bandits and these criminal elements, terrorists, whatever it is you tag them, but you also want to agree with me that the Nigerian police force is mandated to protect people's lives, properties, and also dictate and investigate crime and prosecute offenders. So in all of this that's going on, where is the place of the Nigerian police? Where's the Nigerian police?
That is why I told you we have a weak government.
No,
we
but
don't have
how do you blame that? Yawusa Getso, before you get into it, how do we blame that on the government? The police is actually, an agency of government, is a creation.
Okay, it is because of 6 reasons. 1, we don't have adequate and enough personnel to face the security challenges bedeviling the northwestern region alone. If you put together all the security personnel we have, we don't have capable hands, an adequate number to deal with only northwestern region, the security issues in northwestern region. That is 1. 2, they have not been modernized and have to have the capacity so that they can face the challenges based on you using the modern techniques. And 3, there is no enough gadget and equipment, arms and ammunition that they can be able to face these cowards, bandits, and terrorists and whatsoever they are. And 4, inability of the government to deal with those who were found wanting so that can serve as a deterrent to others, especially within the security cycle. And 5, inability of the government to manage resources wisely. Government of Buhari administration have squandered millions and billions and trillions of US dollars that borrowed in the name of dealing with the security, but we have not seen any impact. Since independence, since Nigeria's independence, where I commend Buhari administration, there was never a government that imputed highest and huge amount of resources in terms of money, in terms of deceiving Nigerians that they have purchased equipment to Kano and others in the name of providing security for lives and property. But yet, there is no justification to that. We only have that on paper that equipment have been procured. If at all you procure this equipment, why can't you provide it and engage youth between the age of 17 and 22, at least per polling unit? So at least 40 per polling unit. In a political world where you have 10 polling units, you will have 400 youth engaged. In a local government where you have 10 political wards, you will have 4,000 youth between the age of 22 that can be trained and engaged so that we can use the other way around, that is a community-driven security process, or else for them to be engaged into and distributed among the security personnel so that you improve the number and then build their capacity using modern techniques. So if and 6, which is final, inability of the government to deal with corruption. Because corruption is an institution in Nigeria that has been provided required environment to improve and escalate beyond the reasonable doubt, beyond the thinking of any Nigerian or any other person outside Nigeria, so that can be managed. Buhari administration have deceived people, deceived Nigerians that they were going to do something in managing the crisis bedeviling the nation, especially in respect to corruption.
No,
but so sad. But those who have been confirmed by court of law, those who have been prosecuted and arrested by EFCC, huge amount of money was used in the process of investigation, in the process of prosecution, in the process of whatever. But yet, Buhari administration went ahead and forgive them and release them from the prison. This is a slap to Nigerians and a discouraging attitude to the personnel of ICPC and EFCC, among other institutions that are fighting corruption.
But you also get so. I mean, we can't constantly always, heap the blame on the president. As much as I'm not the presidential spokesperson or holding brief for the president, we have institutions that have been created.
Why? Because
when we have these institutions, why are these institutions and their mandates are very clear? So why are these institutions not living up to expectation? We can't constantly shift the blame on the president.
If at all they are not doing up to expectation, who appointed them?
I mean,
when you hire a criminal in your house, let me ask you a simple question.
These institutions are created.
When a community, when one of the members of the community broken into a house of another neighborhood, and the neighborhood shouted, "Thief, thief, thief," and the community members followed him, and you put him in your house, and you say, "Please, don't just go your way." And next thief, you also bring him into your house. You created, your house became the cycle where thieves and people who siphon the resources are hiding. Anybody who jumped from other party to APC who have a case with EFCC is being silenced by the government attitude. So Nigerians have lost confidence on the government. So those institutions are being, let me take you back to the statement credited to the National Security Advisor at the time, whereby he made mention that trillions and billions of money have been allocated. This was mentioned through the BBC Hausa. The money was allocated, huge amount of money was allocated as stated by the National Security Advisor in the name of purchase and procurement of soft and hard arms and building the capacity of our security, but yet he is a supervisor of all the security agencies in Nigeria, and the chief intelligence officer made mention very clear that I don't know, I don't see the arms, I don't know how the money was spent. So then who will tell you? And I want to tell you, take you back also to the instructions given by the president. Even recently, he made mention that he asked the military, after the attack of the Kaduna-Abuja train, go and deal with, ruthlessly, go and deal with bandits wherever they are. So why are they remanifesting? If at all the military and other security agencies are taking the instruction from the president. So if they are not taking your instruction, why can't you send them away and bring the right people?
All right, Yahuza.
That is why we are putting the blame on the president.
Yahuza.
Not
Yahuza.
because of any personal vendetta or any other personal reason.
All right, Yahuza.
But because of his inability to build our confidence and to keep to the promises that he keep whipping.
Yahuza.
That Nigeria is bankrupt.
Yahuza, if I could just get a word in edgewise. All right, your points have been noted. In as much as you feel the bulk of the blame should be passed to the presidency. But right now, let's talk about the ways forward. Right now, these bandits have shown themselves to be more like a daredevil. They are not really bothered about what the government is doing or what measures have been put in place or not put in place. Lives have been lost, over time along that road. People have been kidnapped. From what we were told, eyewitnesses said the security operatives only came after the bandits have left. So what do we do now? What is the way forward? Because from what we understand, the Abuja-Kaduna, which is an alternative, is also prone to attack. And the NRC, they're telling us that they are set for reopening sometime next week. Where do we draw the line? How do we ensure that these passengers who would want to move from Abuja to Kaduna via the train or through the road networks are actually safe?
We should have a sincerity from the government and the security agencies. We should have a commitment, a true commitment, not a deceitful commitment to deal with the situation. We should have presence of security personnel 24/7, at least between every 5 kilometers. 24/7. We should have that. We should have intelligence equipment, monitoring equipment that can be tracking at least every 15 minutes what is going on, and also to have a communication between stations of the train and also between one community of the NURTW and the other. The NURTW, the NATO, who are the road transport workers, the NUPENG and others, those who are transporting, the Trailer Workers Association, among other associations, must have a collaboration and partnership, and to have a communication procedure to be managed and also supervised and monitored by the security agencies between Kaduna, Katari, Rijana, Gidambusa, Audu Gwanja, Jere, and Tapa, as well as Sabon Wuse and Dikko Junction. So there are 11 communities, as well as Akilubu and Gadamala Mama. So these 11 communities must be given adequate attention and must have the presence of unknown intelligence who will monitor and track who are really the informers and who are really the criminals hiding within these communities. Because I want to tell you that in all these 11 communities I have listed, there are terrible informants, there are armed traders, There are bandits are there. There are also other criminals who are providing support, moral and psychological support for the activities of the bandits. And among them, there are inputs, direct input from the traditional authorities, which must be checked. So if at all government is ready, these items must be provided for us to move forward. Otherwise, I want to tell you that worse than than attack that happened 50 to 55 days ago for Kaduna-Abuja train, and worse than the attack that happened recently on the Kaduna-Abuja road day before yesterday, worse than that will happen. Because these bandits are rearming themselves every now and then.
So,
and they are procuring
you are a security expert.
Equipment than what is.
Yahuza Getso, you are a security expert, and it's interesting to know that you have all of this information at your fingertips, but it feels like maybe the government is not in the know, or a lot of people, I mean, those who should take responsibility are not in the know. Now, it should be worrisome that shortly after the government had announced that there would be resumption of train services in the same route, the Abuja-Kaduna, and then you also have the attack on the roads. It should be very worrisome that this is actually happening, because it feels like it's more like a dare. You dare the government to do whatever. But you have mentioned a lot of issues. You have talked about personnel lacking intelligence. Is it about just the intelligence, or the problem with the constant attack of the bandits, the fact that the bandits seem to be having a plus and having a hand, seem to be making progress? It should be premised on the fact that, you know, no one is prosecuting. How many times have we heard that anyone has been arrested? So is it majorly an issue of bandits, I mean the lack of intelligence in securing a certain community or location, or it's the issue of having the willpower, having the police effective to dictate, arrest and prosecute these persons?
I want to tell you that both, as you mentioned, are also factors. And I believe that if our intelligence is using the information that I have been providing in the last 6, 7 to 12 years, free of charge, just go to the Google. Let's assume that the security agencies should go to the Google and type my name, Dr. Yahuza Getso. The intelligence, the free intelligence I provided, the information available in my name from the writings and interviews I had, as well as interactions with the community and other things, is enough to, if it can be utilized, 50% of it is enough to deal with this security situation squarely within 16 months. I have mentioned, and I'm repeating myself, I know all the locations of the bandits. And I have mentioned all the areas in northern Nigeria, in northwestern Nigeria and north central Nigeria, they all know the locations of these bandits. And all the divisional police officers and the local security officers who are the representative of the DSS at the local government, and the in charges of the immigration in the respective 773 local governments that we have in Nigeria, as well as the civil defense commanders of the local government commanders, they all know where these bandits are in north central and northwest, as well as any other part where criminals are operating. So it is just absence of political and administrative will. If at all we can have, I want to tell you that all the security agencies are hearing me. And I want you to broadcast this information. You can even share it with other media outlets to share it. That I said, there is no level of security, highest level of authority of security agencies, Defense Intelligence Agency, Directorate of Military Intelligence, the NIA, the DSS, the Air Force, the Army, the Navy. There is no highest level of authority that I have not reached one-on-one, eyeball to eyeball, and provided them the same information I'm discussing now on air.
Yahuza, thank
So
you
what
so
matters
much.
to them? I have put it in writing.
All right, Yahuza, thank you so much for the thoughts that we have shared. That as much as we can actually take on this particular discourse. Yahuza is a security consultant, and he joined us to look at the attacks of commuters along the Abuja-Kaduna highway. We'll take a quick break and the breakfast returns. This time around, we'll be talking about how you can actually study in the UK. In a moment, stay with us.
Raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
SA Designs is a fashion accessory label that specializes in the design and creation of handcrafted bags and footwear. I knew I was going to do something in fashion. I didn't know what exactly it was going to be, but I knew I would be in fashion. If it used to be the cleaner in fashion, whatever, but I have to be in fashion. When we started off with just strictly bag making. But then you get people say, oh, can I get a matching shoe? And then over time, people say, oh, I would like to give my boyfriend a wallet, but I want it with Ankara or something. So over time, we had to listen to our customers and infuse their ideas into our brand. Okay, we wanted something with the African touch, with the Nigerian feel. We make leather bags. But if I'm making a leather bag and I put it in a store, if you don't know SA Designs is Nigerian, you probably think it's a foreign bag. So what's the point of promoting something that is not, if you look at, you can't link it to Africa, you can't link it to Nigeria. Wanted something to promote Africa, wanted something to promote Nigeria. We also want to empower our artisans here. So that's why we keep our content local, raw materials local, production local. We still get a lot of people from around the world ordering from our website. So I believe it's because of what we've built, the brand we've built over time that still speaks for us. In the last 3 years, we've done over 10,000 items. We've sold over 10,000 items to both corporate clients, retail clients, and wholesale clients.
do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
All right, welcome back. It's still The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. This time around, we're moving away from security matters, and we're talking about education, specifically how you can get quality education in the UK with a UK boarding schools exhibition going on here in Lagos today. We have two people, a beautiful lady and a gentleman joining us this morning. Let's make welcome Natasha Dangerfield. It is our pleasure. And of course, George Budd. Thanks for joining us on the show. Okay, let's talk about, first of all, I welcome you both to Nigeria. How are you finding Lagos so far?
Noisy. It's wonderful. Wonderfully noisy.
Wonderfully noisy. That's a first. That's a good one. George, how's your experience been so far in Lagos?
I think very colourful and very vibrant. We're delighted to be here. And,
it's our pleasure to host you in Nigeria. But let's just get straight to the issue for today, education in the UK. There are, I must say, great schools in Lagos. So what's the advantage of getting an education in the United Kingdom? Natasha.
I think in a similar way to in the United Kingdom, there are immense choices, and I think choice is the key word. We have an option. Some families are fortunate to have an option to make a choice, and sending to the UK, particularly from Nigeria, allows people to possibly access the senior education in universities. We have a lot of our students that come across from Nigeria who are looking to access the British university system. And I think this gives them a great footstep into that.
All right, so let me talk to you now, Georgia. What would you say is the remarkable difference? What is the main reason as a parent why I would want my children to school in the UK?
I think, as Natasha says, partly it's looking further ahead to university. And I think families in Nigeria recognise that A-levels done in Britain are a really good way to access a British university. So I think in some ways it's less about the school and more about higher education and university. And I know the vast majority of Nigerians will then return home once they've done their degree. I think also it's about who you meet, contacts, networks, and life experiences of growing up with people from all over the world. We have students from over 20 different countries at my school. And I think it's a fantastic way of understanding cultural literacy and getting a foothold into the world of business, where you're going to be doing business with people from all over the world.
I'm glad you mentioned the issue of cultural, okay, fine, because most people have this issue of cultural shock. Let's talk about adapting and settling down, So how has it really been like, for students from specifically Nigeria and West Africa per se? How's the experience been like in terms of settling down when they get to the UK for schooling? Natasha.
I think initially there are three things that we have to be careful with children of any culture. The first thing is feeding them. Because food is a really important part.
Yes, it is.
Isn't it? And this is, and particularly for African students that really feel the need to make sure that this is the focal part of their day. This is where they come to be with family normally. But the friendships that they create in boarding environments mean that they have this great array of friendships around the food, but making sure the food is right and supporting them in making healthy choices with that. But allowing them to have access still to be able to contact parents is important, but also making sure the foundation of those staff that support them. The boarding schools in the UK are phenomenal at pastoral care, making sure that they know who they can talk to, who they can ground with. So just making sure they know who to talk to in the school, where they can get in touch with their parents and when, and then understanding the routines, but making sure that focus is around how they eat and eating well.
All right, George, let's talk about, I want you to give us maybe a bit of an instance how a student from Nigeria has actually thrived and adapted to UK schools.
Of course. I could give an example from 1953, which is when our first Nigerian people came to the school.
That's a while ago.
It is a long time ago. We've worked with Nigeria for many, many years. I'm actually going to give an example of a girl who just joined our lower sixth. So she's come over to us to do her A-levels. And she is the youngest of three siblings. Her brothers are both, her brother and her sister are both at university in the US. So she's very from a very globally looking, outward-looking family. And she has been really welcomed into the sixth form, into the boarding house. She's made some cracking friends, and I think the sociability and the affability of people from Nigeria, I think, has served her extremely well in making those connections. And also, the school is a place where people join at any stage of their education. So we're quite used to welcoming people into the school who haven't been there from the beginning. And it's always been that home from home, a real family feel. And that comes actually from the students and the girls. We're a girls' school in the sixth form. It comes from the girls as much as it does from the staff. And I think the peer support that the girls offer one another, particularly over the last couple of years through COVID, shows that they're so welcoming. And I think that you get back what you put in, and we certainly find that our Nigerian girls they put in a lot.
All right, Natasha, I understand there is an exhibition today in Lagos. Can you tell us more about it in terms of what to expect, sponsors and all of that?
Of course. So we're at the Wheatbaker Hotel from 11 till 4 today. The sponsors, we're hugely supported by the High Commission, British High Commission, and the DIT alongside Mark Brooks Education and Anderson Education. And they facilitated an opportunity to bring a number of schools together. We are here to represent our various differences, and we have a diverse range of schools here for parents to come and talk to. But the idea really is for you just to come and have those conversations, see what options there are, see if anything suits, or simply just to hear a little bit more about what education is like in the UK.
So is it, George, is it thrown to the members of the public? You could just walk in and walk out, or how does it really work?
Absolutely. So we're in the Wheatbaker Hotel, and the exhibition is 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. today. And we're there to talk about British education for the children, and also to meet school leaders, to talk possibly about partnerships. I've had some great conversations with head teachers and school proprietors in Abuja earlier in the week about our teacher training partnerships, how we might work together there, whether we can offer seminars for the schools, and indeed what we can learn in return. And so we'd love to welcome families, parents, children, and also school leaders too.
Yeah. So Natasha, in case one or parent just need to get more information, how do they just go about getting that information? In case that they have made decisions, to send just children to the UK for schooling.
Of course, Mark Brooks Education. That if you pop that straight into the Google handle, he has a website that will facilitate that conversation in the first stages and then connect us accordingly. So depending on your wishes as a parent.
Okay, shared education, shared experiences. How do we ensure that what has been learned and being taught from the UK is actually brought to bear, not just to Nigeria, but of course the sub-region in West Africa? George?
Yeah, of course. So I think that plays into the students going home once they finish their education and their degrees. Okay. And we met some fantastic alumni at the British High Commission in Abuja who had done their degrees around Britain. I met one lady who studied public health at the University of Aberdeen, and she works over here in public health now. She came back straight away. And I think that sort of feedback back to people's home country, and we see that around the world. And I think people bring back with them the worldview, the experience, international connections and networks, and an understanding of how to get the best out of people from all around the world, and a real commitment to their home nations.
Okay, let's talk figures. Let's talk finances right now, because most times when you talk about schooling abroad, in the UK specifically, most people just have to try and do a bit of math, savings. How much do I have? But first of all, we'll talk about the exhibition for today. Is it a paid event? And that's just on one side. And then again, does it really cost so much to school in the UK? Natasha? It's
perfectly free to come and visit us today. And so, yeah, everybody is very welcome to come and join in there. But of course, it's a paid education. It's expensive for the English parents, and it's more expensive for the Nigerian parents because, of course, they have to fly them across. But there are benefits to that, and obviously this high networking that you can create out of that is a really positive bear on that.
So at the end of the day, it is like a win-win situation. You send your children, they get an education from the UK, and they come to Nigeria to actually share their experiences and get involved in nation building.
Yeah.
Okay, but would you really say that Africans adapt easily in the UK system, George?
Absolutely. I think there's, the Nigerian students that we welcome into our school every year are so hardworking and dedicated and outgoing, and they get involved with being at the school for a very short period of time. Soon enough, they're showing around my prospective families, talking to them about life at the school, and speaking really from the heart about their experiences. They get involved with sport, they get involved with drama, they're on the stage, learning musical instruments. They absolutely get involved with school life, and I think that vivacious energy that we see here in Lagos and in Abuja too really plays out in what we see in the students when they come to us.
Okay, just to emphasize, Natasha, we hear there are 22 UK principals from 22 colleges. Can you tell us about that?
Sorry, say that again.
22 UK principals from 22 colleges from UK and Nigeria to support the school.
Yes, yeah. We have a full range. We represent Scotland right the way through down to the south of England. Okay. And I think this is what's important is that range and diversity of schools are there. Some of them are just sixth form colleges, so very focused on the A level or the IB. So concentrating on different layers of education within the system too.
All right, we wish you all the best. But just before we'll let you go, I just want you to emphasize, yet again, the venue of this particular exhibition, what is to be expected from all people who intend to participate. Natasha.
I think a warm welcome, for sure. We're at the Wheat Baker, which is beautifully welcoming, but certainly the heads are very keen to stand and have a conversation, just to hear a little bit more about the children that are out there. But certainly some refreshments, so come and cool off or have a nice cup of tea.
Okay, George, anything to add before we
Yes, we'd love to, as I say, we'd love to meet families, parents and educational leaders from Lagos. We're at the Wheat Baker Hotel between 11 and 4 today, and it'd be fantastic to see you there.
All right, thank you so much. I have been speaking with Natasha Dangerfield and, of course, George Bud. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you a wonderful exhibition today.
Justin, thank you very much.
It is indeed our pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, it is the Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. We'll take a quick break and we'll return with more. Don't go away. Stay with us.
for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Here are success stories to help you make informed decisions. Welcome back. It's the Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Mercy, we just talked about him sending children to UK to have wonderful education. Are you looking in that direction?
I don't have a child yet. So.
No, you will have a child. But
I don't have a child yet. That shouldn't be my business now. But I mean, if you do have a child,
you can decide to sponsor a child to the UK.
That's a lot, you know. So you, have
you don't want us to probe you or what?
No funds. My hashtag now is no funds. There's no funds anywhere. Even the Nigerian government does not have funds, so there's no funds. But I mean, it's an opportunity. If you have the resources, if you have what it takes, then it's okay to allow your children this exposure. It will be a great thing for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the size of the show for today. My name is Justin Akadonye.
Well, I am Mercy Ibokpo. Now, if you missed out on any part of the conversation, it's all right to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. Have a great day.
Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better? Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions. Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Who would have thought that the faith of Leah Sharibu would make a nation struggle for survival?
Who would have thought that a line from the Bible would be stronger than a rifle and make this girl just to die down to the night? She is the hero of faith.
Heroes of faith, the scar from the battle is their greatest title, not silver or gold. Heroes of faith, their greatest reward is the cross and the word, not riches untold. When all is said and done, their light keeps shining on.
Who would have thought that 4 years would go by and the nations would stand by in silence and pretend no wrong was done?
Who would have thought that no amount of darkness can quench the smallest light? Oh, daughter of Zion, keep shining on. You are the hero of faith.
Heroes of faith, the scar from the battle is their greatest title, not silver or gold. Heroes of faith, their greatest reward is the cross and the word, not riches untold. When all is said and done, their light keeps shining on.
Shining, shining, shining. Oh, shine the light.
Something about the Lord. His love is his power, and there is no lover that can give his life and die for his friends. Something about the Lord. His kingdom is forever. He will rule the world with power in righteousness, peace, and joy. He is the hero of faith. Oh,
Heroes of faith, the scar from the battle is their greatest title, not silver or gold. Heroes of faith, their greatest reward is the cross and the word, not riches untold. When all is said and done, their light keeps shining on. Heroes of faith,
Shine.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from Plus TV Africa.
Good morning, I am Justin Akadonye and this is the news brief on Plus TV Africa. The Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, has been suspended indefinitely over alleged 80 billion naira fraud. He was suspended by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. The minister said the suspension without pay was to allow for proper and unhindered investigation in line with the public service rules. Meantime, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested the former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Nsima Ikare, over alleged diversion of funds to the tune of 47 billion naira through registered contractors of the agency. Nsima, who is 56, was the agency's managing director between 2016 and 2018. The Commission's spokesperson, Wilson Uwajarin, who confirmed the arrest, said it is the latest scandal to have been linked to the NDDC after President Muhammadu Buhari ordered a forensic audit of the agency in 2019. The audit, which is being reviewed, covered the operations of the organization from 2001 to 2019. And the Minister of Finance, or Ministry of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning, has presented to the Federal Executive Council the Phase 3 of the Project Lighthouse, which has to do with the digital infrastructure for voluntary assets declaration schemes.
The aim is to enhance the debt recovery strategy initiative, sustainable long-term gains for the government, and build on additional capabilities in the debt recovery system. Minister of State for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, hinted this while briefing State House correspondents as part of the resolutions reached at the Federal Executive Council meeting.
The aim of this project Lighthouse Phase 3 is to enhance the debt recovery strategy and initiatives, sustainable long-term gains for the government, building on additional capabilities in the system, and ensure that reliable data sets are mined, generated, and aggregated through interagency collaboration. The update on the Project Lighthouse application is on the debt recovery module, the corporate profiling engine as a government gateway, and then the Project Lighthouse website, federal government revenue performance management module, and capacity building.
FEC also approved 2 major memoranda from the Ministry of Works and Housing on the uptake by the private sector in response to the tax credit program, which was initiated in 2019 through the signing of the Executive Order 7. Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola said this program allows the private sector to finance public infrastructure in using tax credit. 4 major critical roads were today awarded with a total contract sum of over 170 billion naira in Taraba, Kebbi, and Niger states under the tax credit scheme.
One of those policy initiatives is the tax credit policy, which was signed as an executive order in 2019. Now we're in 2022, and what you will see now is that the appetite for private sector investment is increasing to fund infrastructure. We can see offtake by the Dangote Group on major roads like the Lekki Seaport Road, the Papalanto Road, the Kaduna Western Bypass, and one or two other roads now that I can't recall from memory that they are going to construct using the tax credit scheme. They've already been approved.
Also today, FEC approved the award of contracts for the establishment and deployment of the Advanced Reports Generation Utility Engine in a total sum of 553 million naira. This technology is to aid the operations of the Accident Investigation Bureau to be able to develop advanced report generation in the aviation sector.
This technology is going to aid the Accident Investigation Bureau to be able to establish and develop, the advanced reports generation, system. This system has tremendous benefits to both authorities and recipients of the information.
Meanwhile, the Executive Council has approved the National Agricultural Technology Innovative Policy as presented by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. This is to create better synergy and alignment with the ministries, departments, and agencies to overcome inadequate coordination.
Meantime, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says he needs to confirm from President Buhari the fate of ministers who returned to the cabinet after reneging on their political ambitions. He stated this while responding to questions from State House correspondents at the end of the FEC meeting. The affected ministers are those of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talon, Justice, Abubakar Malami, and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva. Now, the federal government says it has no plans to suspend Facebook over the alleged use of the platform to incite violence by the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. But addressing journalists after the FEC meeting in Abuja, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, said Facebook has assured that it will take action against posts that incite violence on its platform. Now, the All Progressives Congress APC governorship aspirants in Adamawa State have voted the alleged attempt by certain aspirants to replace genuinely recognized party delegates ahead of the governorship primary scheduled for May the 20th. Addressing a press conference, three aspirants, Omar Madawaki, Abdul Razak Namdas, and Wafari Tayman, described the alleged development as unacceptable. The group explained that consensus candidacy has since been squashed since the party adopted indirect primary election. Now, the aspirants said they have discussed with officials of the party in Abuja on who will be in Yola to organize and monitor the process. Moving on, the APC has rescheduled its governorship and House of Representatives primary elections to Thursday, May the 26th. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Felix Moka, announced this in Abuja while briefing newsmen at the end of the party's National Working Committee meeting. The APC governorship primaries were earlier scheduled for May the 20th. The APC spokesman said the party's Senate and House of Assembly primaries had also been rescheduled for Friday, May the 27th. Now, a federal high court sitting in Osogbo has affirmed Senator Ademola Adeleke of the PDP as the authentic candidate of the party in the forthcoming July 16 governorship election in the state. Justice Nathaniel Ayo Emmanuel, in his judgment, which lasted for more than 1 hour 30 minutes, held that the primary election conducted at the WOCDIF Center, Osogbo, on March the 8th, which produced Dotun Babayemi, was null and void. The PDP, during its governorship primary elections on March the 8th, had held parallel primaries in the state. Ayo Emmanuel, who cited Section 84, subsection 14 of the Electoral Act, after a thorough proceeding and counter-argument by both counsels, dismissed the suit filed by Babayemi.
It's actually a victory for the democracy of this country.
because looking at the nature of the action that was brought, when it was served to us, I was wondering how would somebody bring this kind of action? First, they predicated it on a certain a judgment of Osun State High Court, which actually held that a certain preservative order of Falola J of 9th of November 2020 was valid, even though Court of Appeal had set it aside since 5th of March 2021. But the Federal Court of Osogbo rightly held, because we exhibited the judgment before the court, rightly held this morning that the same preservative order was accordingly set aside, because the Court of Appeal allowed the appeal and resolved all the issues in favor of the appellant in that appeal.
We have had the ruling of the court. The court ruled on the local standing of myself to challenge the primaries that were held at the stadium. And the judgment would be available within the next 24 hours. I want to say that this is purely a family affair. We will take the judgment when it's available. We'll review it, not just with our lawyers, but with our people.
Staying with the judiciary, a federal high court in Abuja has struck out the newly amended 6 counts filed against Nnamdi Kanu by the federal government. The decision followed the withdrawal of the charge by the federal government. The withdrawal came after Kanu's lawyer Mike Ozekome complained that the prosecution was trying to delay processes by continuous amendment of the charge against his client. He told the court that it was the 7th time the federal government was amending its charge. The bandits have attacked commuters along the Abuja-Kaduna highway, abducting an unspecified number of travelers. The bandits had at about 4:20 p.m. blocked the Audu-Ogbe portion of the highway near Katari village. They intercepted some vehicles and during the process took some persons away to an unknown destination. However, normalcy was immediately returned to the highway following the clearance operation by the police. Now, the incident comes almost 2 months after the deadly train attack by terrorists at Dutse Forest in Chikun local government area of the state. Well, back here in Lagos, the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has banned the operations of commercial motorcycles in 6 local government areas. The governor announced that the ban is indefinite and total. The local government listed by the governor are Ikeja, Surulere, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Apapa. The governor gave out the directive at a meeting with the Commissioner of Police, area commanders, and DPOs at the State House in Alausa. The fresh ban followed the February 2020 restriction placed on the activities of commercial motorcycles. The ban comes days after Okada riders killed a young man in the Lekki area of Lagos State over 100 naira balance.
The whole of Ikeja local government, the whole of Sule local government, the whole of Etiosa local government, the whole of mainland local government, the whole of Apapa local government, and the whole of Lagos Island local government. A total ban on this and all of the highways effective from the 1st of June. This is the first banning that we're going to be embarking on, so that others know that in a short while, either they get out or for something else to do. And from 1st of June, there are LCDs that are underneath them. We're going to publish them. We're going to list all of them. And so we're given the notice now, right, where you can begin to do your recce, begin to do, your strategy. From the 1st of June, please, we want all of the Okada to be completely off this major road.
It is still a harrowing experience for commuters and motorists plying the Apogbon area of Lagos State. Since the collapse of a part of the Apogbon Bridge and subsequent closure, the traffic gridlock to adjoining areas have increased. Our correspondent Uyime Afia reports on the visible frustration.
Months after the tragic fire incident that damaged a section of Akpombon Bridge, the situation has expectedly worsened. Traffic gridlock is one of many pains for commuters, drivers, and traders who ply this axis daily.
The traffic, when you lock the road down, the traffic is much. We are trying to appeal to federal or to state government to help us to know the alternative route to create for us so that you can enable vehicles to move freely on the road.
From this place to Pangu, which is 200 naira, have been going up to 500 naira. Simply, the transporters are being complained that the hold up is too much. Then the diversion being going down there before they turn around, before they come out to this place and pass this place. It have given from that place you can use almost 2 hours before you can get to this place.
It helps so many people a lot. Here people are selling, here people are going to work. But most people are taking this bridge because of this market.
They should leave us here. We manage ourselves. Now one person for 4 people for one shop, 3 people for one shop. Where we fall, they should allow us to get up from that place. Even though they want to carry us go another place, shouldn't be like it. Shouldn't be as it be now. Where we fall, they should allow us to get up from that place. We beg federal, Lagos State and federal government, they should please, they should consider us. We need mercy from the federal government.
The closure of the bridge has spilled traffic to adjoining Igamu, Orile and Costain. Meanwhile, under the bridge, Plus TV News cited some engineers, but no serious work was being done. They refused to speak to us. Lagosians plying Akpombo area may have to wait more longer for the bridge to be rehabilitated, as it is not clear this would happen soon. Uyime Afia, Plus TV News.
Nigerians are speaking on the need for regular medical checks as untreated cases of hypertension double. And that's on Street Views.
But as far as I'm concerned, people are very, very scared about going to hospital to check up. Simply because the day they go to hospital to check for them, to ask about their checkup, about their health-wise, whatever, when they tell them you are carrying so disease in your body, they will be like, what's all this? So their days of death will start counting from that day. So that's why you see many people, they'll be running for it. And if you look at it, average of Nigerians are dying every day simply because of ignorance, of not going to do their medical checkup.
Some believe go to the general hospital, involve a hectic tax. That you want to go to the general hospital, it's a thing that probably take a whole day to do. Then why other than want to go to private hospital, consider the financial issues. That is not easy go by.
The truth is bitter. You still have to check your health because, like I said, health is wealth. It's very important to do the checkup before it's too late. Once it's too late, there's no going back. Yeah, it's quite expensive. We all know medical aspects in Nigeria is expensive. So we're still waiting if the government can still try and make something affordable for everybody.
They will say, go and do this test, 50,000. Go and do that test, 100,000. Even people that don't have money, that carry ordinary fee for there, and I tell them to go and do tests of 150,000, 30,000. Where would they get the money? Immediately they add the price of the money, their BP will arise, and they will later die.
If it's possible to have an insurance, go for an insurance that will be able to cover up for your bills when it comes to medical issues.
Nigerian mentality in going for medical checkup is very poor. Some will tell you that, I'm not sick, why should I go to the hospital for checkup? But it is very, very important. Cost of medical checkup in Nigeria is very high. But sometimes in government hospitals, but even when you go to government hospitals, you even be stressed up, the queue and all that. So you still have to go back to private hospitals. But at the same time, no matter how expensive it might be, our health is very, very important.
Now, Togo's Security Minister General Demhin Yak has confirmed that about 15 Aslians were killed during a terrorist attack last week in the north that also left 8 soldiers dead. Togo's troops are deployed in the north of the country to try and contain a jihadist threat pushing south from Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, where militants are linked to Al-Qaeda and Islamic State group operate. In the early hours of May the 11th, about 60 gunmen on motorcycles launched a violent terrorist attack on a military post in Binkankonde near the border with Burkina Faso, killing 8 Togolese soldiers and wounding 13. That's according to the government. Now, outside the continent, President Joe Biden says he thinks the bids by Sweden and Finland to join NATO will be successful, despite objections raised by Turkey to their applications.
But I think I'm going to say one thing. I got a call months ago from the president of Finland, wanted to come and see me. I saw him. He told me what he was thinking about, and I got a call that both the leader of Finland and Sweden are coming to see me on Thursday. I think we're going to be okay.
You can convince Turkey to accept their bid?
I think I'm not going to Turkey, but I think we're going to be okay.
Thank you.
Now, United States intelligence shows that there could be a North Korean nuclear test, missile test, or even both before, during, or after President Joe Biden's trip to South Korea and Japan, which he's starting this week. The U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told the White House briefing that all contingencies are being prepared for, including the possibility that such a provocation would occur while in Korea or in Japan.
That our intelligence does reflect the genuine possibility that there will be either a further missile test, including long-range missile test, or a nuclear test, or frankly both, in the days leading into, on, or after the president's trip to the region. We are preparing for all contingencies, including the possibility that such a provocation would occur while we are in Korea or in Japan. We are coordinating closely with our allies in both Korea and Japan on this. We have spoken with counterparts in China. I spoke with my Chinese counterpart this morning and covered this issue of the DPRK. And we are prepared, obviously, to make both short and longer term adjustments to our military posture as necessary to ensure that we are providing both defense and deterrence to our allies in the region, and that we're responding to any North Korean provocation.
In business news now, on Wednesday, the Naira exchanged at 419.25 kobo to the dollar at the investors and exporters window, compared to 418 Naira 50 kobo traded on Tuesday, representing 0.18% depreciation. The open directive or indicative rate closed at 418 Naira to the dollar on Wednesday. And that's as much as we have time for on the news. I am Justin Akadonye. Many thanks for watching.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from Plus TV Africa.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Top political presidential contenders for 2023 general elections. First, we have Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Focus on issues and be ready to serve Nigeria. It's all about service.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a Nigerian and a founding member of the All Progressives Congress. He served as the governor of Lagos State from 1999 to 2007 and earlier as senator for Lagos West in the Third Republic. Tinubu became an activist campaigning for the return of democracy as part of the National Democratic Coalition Movement, NADECO. He returned after Abacha's death in 1998 and the beginning of the transition to the Fourth Republic. His terms as the governor of Lagos State have been marked as attempts at modernizing the city. After his term, Tinubu has retained his status as one of Nigeria's most influential politicians, as his allies often filled high offices. On the 10th of January 2022, Tinubu announced his intention to run for the position of president in the 2023 general elections. Another candidate is Rotimi Amechi.
I will cause the amendment of the Constitution, working with the National Assembly, so that we can put the traditional rulers in the Constitution. You have a role to play in the insecurity.
Rotimi Amechi is a Nigerian and a current Minister of Transportation under President Muhammadu Buhari. He served as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly from 1999 to 2007 before taking up the governorship role in Rivers State, thereafter ending his tenure in the year 2015. To kickstart his political career, Amechi was appointed as the Secretary of the National Republican Convention in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State between 1992 and 1994. He also served in different positions, including Special Assistant to the Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Peter Odili, and Rivers State's Secretary of the Democratic Party of Nigeria's Caretaker Committee during the transition program of General Sani Abacha. On the 9th of April 2022, Amechi declared an interest to contest in the presidential election. Another candidate is Nyesom Wike.
Give me this to do. Let me return power to PDP.
Ezenwo Nyesom Wike is a Nigerian politician and a lawyer who is the sixth and current governor of Rivers State. He is an Ikwere from Romeo Ebirokum in Abio Akpo, Rivers State. He is a member of the People's Democratic Party. He attended Rivers State University of Science and Technology. Wike was elected as an executive chairman of Abia Akpo local government area from 1999 to 2007. He was appointed Minister of State for Education on 14 July 2011 and was later appointed Acting Minister of Education after Mrs. Rukayato was sacked. He later resigned before finishing his term to campaign for Governor of Rivers State. In 2014, he won the Rivers State People's Democratic Party primary, defeating Dakuku Peter side of the All Progressives Congress APC, and Tony Princewill of the Labour Party in the April 11 gubernatorial elections to emerge as governor. In April 2022, he announced